Hello and Namaste. So this is the session. We'll be starting with the complex number. This is the first session where we'll be going ahead with the introduction part. Why we need complex numbers? First of all, a simple algebraic equation like x square is equals to minus 1 may not have a real solution. Introducing complex numbers validates the so-called fundamental theorem of algebra. That is, every polynomial with a positive degree has a root. Next, a basic problem in linear algebra is to find eigenvalues and eigenvectors of the given matrix. Now, if we'll consider the characteristic equation or matrix with a characteristic equation as lambda square plus 1 equals to 0, and hence we need complex number for its eigenvalues. However, the usefulness of complex number is much beyond such simple applications. Nowadays, complex numbers and complex functions have been developed into a rich theory called complex analysis and become a power tool for answering many extremely difficult questions in mathematics and theoretical physics. Complex numbers are numbers that consist of two parts. They consist of two parts, a real and an imaginary number. Complex numbers are the building blocks of many intricate math, such as algebra, as I have told you. They can be applied to many aspects of real life, especially in electronics and electromagnetism. So if I wanted to just define the complex number, this can be done. And I'm leaving this particular slide for you. I mean, every slide I have done in the slides in such a way that you can find or you can just form your own notes related to the complex numbers. So let me just read through this. So complex numbers, Z is an order paired, as I said it, x and y or real numbers x and y. It is written as Z equals to x comma y, or it can be expressed as Z equals to x plus iy, where I is minus of square root of minus 1. Very important, square root of minus 1, and is known as imaginary unit. This is known as an imaginary unit. Hence x is called the real part of Z and denoted as real RE of Z, or real part of Z, and y is an imaginary part of Z and it's been written as imaginary part of Z, or IM of Z. If x is equals to 0 and y is not 0, then Z is equals to 0 plus IY. That means what? IY, which is purely imaginary, that means what? Her real part is going to be 0. Similarly, the same thing we can have it when my x is not 0 and y is equals to 0. That time Z is equals to x plus iy, where is equals to x, which is a real part, or you can say the purely real number. So therefore I could say that every real number can be written in the form of complex number by taking its imaginary part as 0. And therefore we can say that, or we can make a comment that set of real numbers is the subset of complex numbers. That is, R is a subset of Z. Sorry, R is a subset of C, that is a set of complex numbers. So this complex numbers can be expressed as Z is equals to x plus iy, such that x comma y belongs to the real number. So both of them belongs to the real number, but when they are coming together as x plus iy form, they becomes the complex numbers, or that they becomes a part of complex number. Then if Z is equals to x plus iy is complex number, then its conjugate or the complex conjugate is defined as Z equals to x minus iy. So I just wanted to have this particular session as an introductory session for the complex numbers. So if two complex numbers Z1 equals to a plus ib and Z2 as c plus id, then they are equal. So that means the equality of the two complex numbers exists only when the real parts are equal and the imaginary parts are equal. That means a equals to c and b equals to d. Out of that, if one of them is not, this equality is not equal, then obviously the two complex number, we can't say that they are equal. Okay. Now if we'll talk about the Argand diagram, actually this is the way, let me just explain you what is it. Mathematician Argand, he is a mathematician Argand, and based on his name only we have given the name, that Argand diagram, represented a complex number in a diagram known as Argand diagram, and this is a representation. So this is x is the real axis, this y is an imaginary axis. So this is the point P having the coordinates x and y, This P can be expressed as x plus Iy, and let me just introduce this r and theta a little later, but this is what is the known as the Argand diagram in the Cartesian coordinates. In the Cartesian coordinates, we'll be again going back again for this particular thing for r and theta, when we will be going for the polar form. So complex number x plus Iy can be represented by a point P whose coordinates are x and y, just the same thing which I have written here. The same thing I have given here as a notes slide, so that you can have you can form your own notes about the complex numbers. So everything about the complex number we'll be discussing today. So about the algebra of complex numbers, let us say for there are two complex numbers z1 and z2, wherein x1 plus iy1 and z2 as x2 plus iy2 be the two complex numbers. Then addition of them has been denoted as z1 plus z2, and this is the number x1 plus iy1, x2 plus iy2. Purposely I have given the color codes over here. Color code, red color for the real part and the blue color is for the imaginary part of the number of these complex numbers. So if you observe here, red part is getting added, that means the real part is getting added here, x1 plus x2 plus I times I will come out, and this will be y1 plus y2. So this is the addition. Similarly, the subtraction will take place, only the sign in place of addition over here will be having the negative sign, or you can say the subtraction sign will be here. The same thing will be here, only the difference would be here. x1 plus x2, instead of that it is x1 minus x2 plus I times y1 minus y2. So accordingly the real part and the imaginary parts is getting subtracted. So please follow the color code. So you will follow this particular addition, subtraction, multiplication and the division of this algebra of the complex number very fast if you follow these color codes. So multiplication is z1 into z2, which is x1 plus iy1 into x2 plus iy2. So again it would be x1 x2 minus y1 y2. This is the first bracket, plus I times x2 y1 plus y2 x1. So this is again the color code I have given you. Follow it up, you will understand the multiplications. Definitely will be going for the different kind of example in the next upcoming sessions. Division is z1 upon z2. So again this is x1 plus iy1 upon x2 plus iy2, which is equals to, now whenever we are dividing the complex number, we have to multiply and divide by the denominator's conjugate of the denominator. So what is the conjugate? If z is equals to x plus iy, the conjugate of this would give me xy, z bar is x minus iy. So we are just doing the negation of the imaginary part. The same thing is happened, x2 plus iy2, the complex conjugate of this number is x2 minus I times y2, and therefore we are just multiplying and dividing by x2 minus I times y2 here, and after that we are just doing the multiplication of what we have done it here, the multiplication of the numerator, multiplication of the denominator, and you'll be going to get this type of equation here. Purposely I have done here the real part and the imaginary part separate, but you can just combine it as x1 x2 plus y1 y2 plus I times y1 x2 minus x1 y2, numerator, denominator would be x2 square plus y2 square. That can be done here in the division, but purposely I have tried to make it as, express this as a plus I times b. So express this particular division into the complex number. Okay, now going towards the different forms of complex numbers. The complex forms can be defined in different notations would be different. First is the Cartesian or the rectangular form, which is x and y are the real numbers. Then z is equals to x plus iy is called the Cartesian form of a complex number, or it is also known as the rectangular forms as well. Okay, as I have told you that we'll be going ahead with this r and theta, let me explain you what is this polar form is. The complex number z equals to x plus iy can be represented by the point P, here, whose Cartesian coordinates are x and y. But whenever we wanted to go for the Cartesian to polar, we have to take the substitution as x is equals to r times cos of theta and y is equals to r times sine of theta. So just taking or putting these values in this x plus iy form, so we'll be getting z equals to r times cos of theta plus I times r of sine theta. Taking r outside, so we'll be getting it here cos of theta plus I times sine of theta. And this polar form can be written as, this is also one of the notation, r, the angle sine theta. So this is also one of the way to note or to denote the polar form, this. And if you observe here, it is always, this theta is always forming the positive angle, or you can say the angle from x-axis to the point. This is the position vector small r of this particular point P. So this is known as a position vector. Small r is a position vector, and that is also, we will just go ahead and see what this r and theta, right? And the third form is known as an exponential form, which is, see, if you observe this, from the Cartesian form we have written the polar form. Now from the polar form we are going to write down the exponential form. Now this is polar form we have written, expressed here, z is equals to r times cos of theta plus I times sine of theta. Now cos theta plus I times sine theta. So if you observe here, e to the power I theta is cos of theta plus I times sine of theta. This is, we are aware of this particular identity. So this is the same thing we are putting it here. So r into e to the power I theta, which is an exponential form of the complex numbers. And this is a very important note, which is, this is what I have told you. E to the power I theta is cos of theta plus I times sine theta. E to the power minus I theta is cos of theta minus I times sine theta. And therefore we can express this cos of theta in terms of 1 by 2 times e to the power I theta plus e to the power minus I theta. Similarly, sine theta can be expressed as 1 upon 2i e to the power I theta minus e to the power minus of I theta. So this is a very important note. Whenever we will be going for the complex questions for the complex numbers, we will be using this type of identity whenever we are dealing with the exponential forms. Yeah, and the modulus and argument, as I have promised, r and theta will be defining it now here. So z equals to x plus iy, which is equals to r into cos of theta plus I times sine of theta. This is r, which is known as the modulus or the absolute value of z, and it is denoted as mod of z, or sometimes it is mod of z also can be done. What is this? This is nothing but mod of z is equals to r, which is same as r, which is equals to square root of x square plus y square. So from here we can say that r square is nothing but x square plus y square. This can be also used for this particular thing. Similarly, this is nothing but mod of z the whole square, right? This can be also used for few of the questions. According to the demand of the question, we'll be using the formula. Okay, theta is argument, or you can say the amplitude of z, and is denoted by argument of z or amplitude of z, arg of z or amp of z, or sometimes it is just a theta of z. And this is the formula. Argument of z is equals to theta, which is tan inverse of y by x. And note, very important again, this note I have put it in the green color. The value of theta lying between minus pi to pi is called a principal value. Very important. This is a very important thing, that is to note it down. The value which is lying between minus pi to pi of the theta. So that means what, minus pi is less than equals to theta is less than equals to pi, is known as the principal value. Principal value. Principal value of the argument or the theta. And the argument of z is the value of theta which lies in the quadrant of the point xy. Quadrant in the xy. So that is what I have told you, right? So you have to start measuring this angle from x-axis, positive x-axis, right? So this is what is our theta is, right? Okay. Then properties, few of the properties which are very important of the complex numbers, which are very useful for us to go for the different kinds of examples. So suppose z is x plus iy and z bar is x minus iy, that is a conjugate of z. Then the real part of z is equals to x is equals to 1 by 2 times z plus z bar. Very, very important properties. All of them are very important properties. Please note it down in your notes. Then imaginary part of z can be expressed as y, which is equals to 1 upon 2 I z minus z bar. You can easily find it out. Just suppose, for example, this particular x I have to find out. Z plus z conjugate will be getting me x plus iy plus x minus iy plus iy minus iy will go off. I'll remain here with 2x, and therefore this x is equals to 1 by 2 times. So similarly, you can just go and just check with the b. Even c also. C is z1 plus z2. The conjugate is equals to z1 conjugate plus z2 conjugate. Just I wanted to list it down, all those formulas. Then this conjugate of z1 into z2 is equals to z1 conjugate into z2 conjugate. So the conjugates are also same. Then Z1 upon Z2 conjugate will give me Z1 conjugate upon Z2 conjugate. So they are individual conjugates. You can just express it. Again, this is a very important property. Z into Z conjugate, which is mod of Z squared, which is same. Again, so mod of Z bar or Z conjugate squared. So that means what? Mod of Z and mod of Z conjugate, they are same, that is square root of x square plus y square. Similarly, mod of, or you can say the mod of Z1 plus mod of Z1 into Z2 is mod of their individuals, like Z1, mod of Z1 into mod of Z2. Similarly, same thing will be applicable for the argument, that is of the theta. Argument of Z1 into Z2 is argument of Z1 plus argument of Z2. Similarly, mod of Z1 upon Z2, Z1 upon Z2 mod is equals to upon mod of Z2. Similarly, argument of Z1 upon Z2 is equals to argument of Z1 minus, very important. So these are the two very important properties, that is arguments and this argument of Z1 into Z2 and argument of Z1 upon Z2. With this fact we'll be using in the questions like the De Moivre's theorems and all. So just have a note of these two very important properties. Yes, this is all about the complex numbers. If at all you have any query, and put me in the comment section. Please stay tuned for the upcoming sessions on the complex number. The upcoming sessions would be completely depending upon how you are performing, how you are responding this particular session. Thank you so much. Happy learning.